Eli, we're done. Can you make sure you do the punk rock one?
Let's go!
I am ready.
Let's do it.
Me too. Guess we didn't have any funny stuff this time, huh? Too much pressure.
I'm just getting off of work. I need to let me get my mind into this.
Let me just do some quick jumping jacks. I'll be right back.
Bro, you know what I need is a fresh bowl of something, like a bowl of something.
Like Fruit Loops?
Cereal?
No, definitely not cereal. I definitely meant weed.
Oh, drugs.
Yeah.
We both went to cereal because I swear I was thinking mini weeds.
Jess, nobody cares, dude. You and
No, I was just
different
messing.
people. You always has to point out stuff you guys do at the same time. Like, oh my God, we just did this.
We did. It did just happen. You are
I
with
heard
us.
it, but it wasn't that big a deal. I'm going to point that out. Every time you put something out, I'm going to start calling shit out like this.
Nobody
did just
cares.
happen, though.
This is why Robert didn't want to join the podcast.
Nobody wants to join the podcast.
Told me.
I was like, hey, you guys want to got some free time? So I'm always thankful when people, even when Jessica shows up, I'm like, fuck yes. Or like when Eloy doesn't quit, yeah, I'm like, yes, I love you, Jesus. Like, thank you. So now that you're showing up, Bertine, it's just like, I'm like, don't even think about it. Don't even think about it. Because then I might jinx it.
I mean,
I have really bad luck in life.
Let's just go off the list of people that started off with the group. You guys started off very solid. And then
exactly. And then 2 months in.
Doing the same repetitive thing. Seeing how you and Cindy want to.
Yeah, Hollywood's tough.
Hollywood's tough.
Look at what happened to Michael Jackson. And Free Britney. Hashtag Free Britney.
Embarrassing. You're not the winner in that story.
I know. Okay. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Primas podcast. I'm Cindy. Hey. Jessica, how's it going?
Hey, everybody. Welcome back, Primas and Primos. Thanks for tuning in again. If this is your first time, we appreciate it. If you've been a day one and fan supporter, shout out to my mom. Thanks.
Thanks, Dad Gloria. We love you.
Thanks, Mom. For just having our episodes on repeat on her phone. She's the 22 views every week we get.
She's the views. Damn it. I was like, wait, this is consistent. What's going on?
The one on the Instagram saying, promote your stuff on this media.
Yeah. She keeps creating brand new accounts to give us like some traction with our algorithm. Yeah. That is unconditional love. I love her.
Dope. I respect that.
Yeah. That's cool.
You don't deserve your mom, Jess.
Welcome back, Primo Martini.
What's going on in the flesh? For all those who can see me, because I have a camera set up in my room. You guys don't have that set up. It's crazy. I joined your podcast.
It's just gonna be
set up in my room.
That would be so funny. You're like, video, Eli, can you just add my video in? And I did my own edits, so it's on video.
We might talk about it. The whole episode is gonna be an actual video shoot of just me though, and you guys in the background. Like, we can hear you, but it's just gonna be me. Even when I'm quiet, the camera's just on me. Well, I'm not.
You're gonna be doing pull-ups in the background.
Whatever. I mean, I gotta knock it all off when I can. I'm a busy man these days.
Yeah, that's cool. So I have a question for both of you because today I want to introduce our topic with this question. What is food justice? In your own words, what do you think it is? It doesn't have to be like, oh, shoot, I didn't look up the Google definition. Just what do you think of when you think of food justice?
Sorry, I'm just looking it up on my phone.
Wikipedia? Martin, you're using Wikipedia right
there? Just really
quick. God, I said Wikipedia also.
I just didn't care about this topic, so I'm like now looking up the information as this episode is going. Because we live in America. If somebody wants to get fat, they have the right to. Okay?
So that's food justice to you.
I know where this liberal episode is going, and I'm against it. I'm all about steaks, cigarettes, and beer, the American way.
Rock, flag, and eagle, right, Charlie? He's got a point.
Good. Okay. You're going to be the opposing side. Amazing. We know your stance. When I think of food justice, I think of food injustice, actually, because there is no justice when it comes to food.
Like, what do you mean? There is no justice when it comes to food.
And now that I'm starting my journey and doing my homework and research in it, it's advertised in a way where it's not on our side. They're not trying to feed us the healthiest things out there, the healthiest products. It's whatever they can make the cheapest and sell it at the most and profit off our health, essentially. So when you say food justice, yeah, I just think there is none. And I'm thinking of like, it's just unjust what they're doing in the advertisement, in the consumerism, which, yes, is the topic, but there you go, Prima. I answered your question.
That's really good. Well, what I think food justice is, it's, for me, it's the access or non-access to foods, to the foods we eat. So we don't have, when I got into food justice, it was when I was a public health organizer. And I learned so much about, well, I really got into food and food marketing. And I love the psychology, and I love studying the psychology in food marketing and the way food is made. It's a business product now. So that's, you were saying consumerism, like it doesn't really matter what value or nutritional value it's giving anybody. It's a business. And when something turns into business, you have to make a profit and you have to use cheaper ingredients. You don't have to, but then if you go up, those cheaper ingredients are always going to win because we have people in lower or more disadvantaged, like economically situations. And then you have people who don't know about nutrition, and who's teaching about nutrition. You know, like we're not really learning about that unless we take a particular interest. And so, yay, we're going to talk about food justice.
And I'm glad we have an opposing viewpoint. Thanks, Martin.
Oh yeah, I'm going full Rush Limbaugh on this episode. You guys are not getting the same old Martin.
Okay. Well, my second question, Martin, is, do you pay attention to the food that you eat?
Do I pay attention to the food that I eat? Let me put it this way.
I can answer for him. Nope.
No, in all seriousness, I do actually notice what I'm eating. Well, as of late, I'm all everything obviously was a joke. I believe in this new. I mean, it's new to me, food justice topic that we're talking about, because I am somebody who, I'm like Jonah Hill. I fluctuate with weight. Like I'm either fat or I'm skinny. And it's, I can never really stick to one thing. And it was always obviously because of my diet. I could work out as much. I'm not the type of person who could work out as much as they can and stay fit in eating whatever they want. I'm not. If I eat whatever, no matter how much I work out, that's gonna
show.
Definitely show. Like, okay, bro, it's not showing that you're working out for sure. So that as of honestly, like at the end of 2020 is when I really started paying attention. I've always tried. I did like diets and stuff like that, but I never really, even in diets, if you're not on a specific one and you're just eating what you think is healthy, which is like fruit or any type of vegetable and stuff like that, I didn't realize. I was so naive and ignorant, thinking fruit. Oh, just like everybody, the common person would think. Oh, we've been told it's the healthiest thing ever, that and vegetables. But then you come to find out, a lot of fruit has a lot of sugar. Well, all fruit actually has a lot of sugar, and that after a while, can become such a bad thing. So I didn't pay attention to even the things I thought were healthy. And it wasn't up until the ending of 2020 that I really started paying attention to, because I blew up. I thought I was at 175. Jessica proved that wrong. We weighed myself at her house. It was a completely different
You've been saying this number for 5 years, and I don't think it's been stagnant. I think you're like, nah, bro, I'm pretty sure
I was
I'm
like,
175.
so sure. I was like, dude, I'm 175, maybe 178.
And same because my food journey started, or like me getting into it started late last year, because I noticed I gained 20 pounds since before the pandemic. I was like 150. And then towards the end of the year, I was weighing in at 175. And it's, I was like, fuck, man, every time I'm doing something, I keep going up in the scale every year. And since I've noticed I've been going up in the scale every year since high school, which for me was now going on 12 years. So I'm like, what am I doing that, my diet, I don't think I eat so bad. I don't think I splurge or eat fast food every single day. I significantly cut down on my drinking. So I would question, why do I keep going up in my diet? Or why do I keep going up in the scale? So that's what started it for me too. And everyone would always say like, oh, Jess, well, you just had a baby. And I'm like, oh, my kid's going on 4. So I don't think that justifies it anymore, you know? So I really wanted to get to the breakdown of like, why do I keep going up every single year? So I did start my journey late last year as well.
Yeah.
Cool. And I think you guys both mentioned, I think like for you guys, your journey for nutrition was because of how you want to, your weight, right? And so for me, it wasn't my weight. It was when I started to learn about food and how food is manufactured and all the ingredients that, you know, in our US system, I don't know too much about other systems, foods, but here I studied it for like 5 years. And I went to this awesome conference where Michelle Obama was a guest speaker.
I remember that.
Remember? Yeah, it was called Partnerships for a Healthier America. Partnerships for a Healthier America.org. You were jealous? Why?
Because I
met Michelle Obama. Yeah, she looked at me, so it's not a big deal. And then her security guard was like about to shoot me. I was like, I love you. And so anyway, yeah. And so once I learned the psychology, all of the science that goes into the production of food, I was like, whoa, what's going on? Why we're eating a lot of things that aren't edible. And then they use food against us, right? So like sugar is very addicting. And so I started to really look deep into sugar and big sugar and how they have a lot of lobbyists during like different rules where sugar has to be in almost every single food. And like big sugar is always behind that. They're just very heavy hitters. And sugar, I compare it a lot to crack cocaine. And I say that confidently because I've done enough research. Everyone should, don't believe what I say. You should never believe what anyone says. You should always do your own research. From my findings, especially because kids are targeted, it was just like, dang, they really are targeting the vulnerable, which is kids and people that are in like minority communities. For example, there's always going to be a liquor store or fast food accessibility in a minority community. And when you start going up the scale of income, you're not going to see a liquor store. You're not going to see no fast food restaurants. You might see a Starbucks, and so I was like, wait a minute. So, and then I started to look deep into sugar and how it's advertised to kids. And I'm going to go back on Instagram next month where I do a lot of food justice posts where I do talk about this stuff and I push like sugar or reading food labels and stuff like that. But at a grocery store and the colors they use and the sound of the plastic wrap from like a Twinkie from chips, those are things like Pavlov's conditioning. Remember when Pavlov used to ring a bell? Classical conditioning. Mm-hmm. Every time he rang a bell, the dogs eventually, every time he rang it, he would feed them. He rang it and then he would feed them. And so it came to a point where, he would just ring it and their mouths would salivate because you create that conditioning. So it's the same. If I'm in the kitchen, my daughter doesn't really recognize it because I try not to bring in stuff. But like if I'm opening a bag of chips, your kids can hear it. There's like funny YouTube videos on it where it's like, what is that? What did you just open? And so it goes to that level of detail, how food is being marketed towards us and how junk food is being marketed towards us. So
I agree. I just started this journey it wasn't until late last year where I started questioning it. I'm like, I'm doing something wrong with my diet. It is my diet. And then early this season, we had on a guest speaker named Jessica Hernandez, where we talked about mind, body, and soul in alignment. And then she was a vegan and she looked amazing. And I thought she was younger than us. And turns out she's like 15 years older than us. And I'm just like, whoa. So that was like also, I couldn't believe it. You know what I mean? Like, I know Cindy has been shoving this down our throats for like the last 5 years, but.
No, I have not. I rarely talk about it because,
Cindy, you would give me brochures like if you were trying to enlist me in the army.
Every time I drink milk at your house, you would look at me of disgust. Subconsciously.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right.
So,
but I didn't shove it down your throat.
Yeah. I was just being funny. Jeez.
No, let's talk about this. Let's switch the topic. Let's make this
Let's
about
talk about the trauma that we felt from Cindy. And now that
No, I vowed to myself.
Though.
I vowed to myself one time. I don't know who I was talking to, and my mom was just like, "You're becoming a sales, like now you're making it annoying. No one's gonna want to hear you when you're coming with that energy." And I checked myself. I was like, "Oh, okay." I was so passionate. I thought I was doing people a favor, and I was just coming off as obnoxious. So
yeah.
Good. I'm glad you guys brought that up, because anytime you do bring something up, you're gonna get a better reaction when you just shut the hell up and then let people go through their own journey and just be there for support. Okay.
Exactly. And there you are. Here I am 5 years later. I'm on my own journey and I'm like, oh shit, the stuff Cindy was talking about then is making sense now. And so when we were talking to our guest speaker, Jessica, she actually recommended the book Proteinaholic by Garth Davis, who's an MD. And I'm barely in chapter 5 of that book. And already my mind is blown. I can't believe, because he goes back and he's a medical doctor and he would tell us to eat animal protein 3 to 4 times a day. And that's what I was doing. And that's where I think, so I'm starting my transition into being in a vegan lifestyle. I've already eliminated dairy from my consumption. And now my next step is animal protein. And that's where I'm at right now, and how it's advertised and how he does his research, he does his homework, and he talks about these studies that were done. And when animal protein, which came into our nutrition, which was around the 1950s. And that's when it started the consumerism, right? And how it's advertised. And since then, there's like a correlation of animal protein in our diet 3 to 4 times a day, which it's an overconsumption. We don't need that much animal protein a day. And with like the increase of diabetes, hypertension, cholesterol, and, you know, all these other heart diseases that were not seen in people like us now are prevalent because, and I can't say because of animal protein, but, you know, there's that correlation. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean,
what I just said?
It definitely makes sense. It's funny though, because I'm actually going to go on the total opposite end. I'm not against veganism or anything like that, but my actual diet, I did go on the keto diet, and within 2 months, you know, that's what made me kind of realize, like, this is what I need to start reading into what I'm eating. I got to start seeing what, because it's obviously low carb based.
Ooh, can I ask you a question? When did you start the keto diet?
I can't remember the exact date, but it was sometime in December.
Oh, of last year.
Yeah, that's why I said, like, I started really noticing like what I'm eating and stuff. At first, it was how Cindy said, like, it was about my weight, and I'm going on to my last like final weeks of keto, because so anybody who wants to try it, go for it. I'm not gonna tell you what to try and what not to try to lose weight. It worked for me, but what also, aside from the weight loss, what also helped was it did make me realize like what I got to start eating. This is the type of stuff that, as you said, Cindy has brought up to us in the past, or even Wendy, who's vegetarian, always told me, you know, kind of like to be aware of these things. It's kind of hard because we, especially people of color, we didn't grow up in an educational system that tells us how to, like, what are the good nutrients, what aren't, what to stay away from, or what to limit yourself with, and things like that. And even if they did, nobody wants to be told, don't do this. If anything, give us an alternative route. You know what I mean? But it's always hard, like I said, especially in the communities with mostly people of color, because we're not taught, we're taught to eat McDonald's. Don't worry about what's in it. That's affordable and
convenient.
If it's for the kids, that's all parents have time to do, because chances are if you're in a 2-parent household, they're both working, exactly. You know, and they have to take care of, you know, not just you know, they got to do a bunch of stuff. So it's easier to do stuff like, let's just go get McDonald's. Things like that are pushed into our communities because it's easier access, you know. But you realize what's the stuff that goes into it, like having nuggets. I was never a fan of chicken nuggets from McDonald's. And then when I found out what was really in it, it was like, I was already not a fan of them. That's even worse now. Like, I don't, you know.
I wanted to ask you guys, going on this McDonald's conversation, I wanted to ask both of you, because McDonald's is a perfect example, and that's why they're so big business-wise. What are the 3 most addicting nutrients? Do you guys want to take a shot?
Addictive nutrients?
Nutrients as in food, like food ingredients.
So for sure, carbs, which is like grain, sugar, rice, and stuff like that.
I would say sugar.
Sugar, and
There's 3. What else do you guys think? And if you're thinking about McDonald's, they do a fantastic job with the balance of these nutrients.
I would say
Potatoes.
dairy and animal, the meat, like your animal intake. I don't know. That's it. We said it.
Okay, good guesses. So it's sugar, 100%. That's super addicting. It's like crack cocaine. Salt and fat. So you said animal product, which that's separate. That's protein, but we get people love animal fat. We love it. Gelatin, bacon. It's fatty. It has saturated fats, and so you were kind of there. So sugar, salt, and fat. And there's a book called Salt, Sugar, Fat, How the Food Giants Hooked Us by Michael Moss. And I'll write that in this description. But I learned about this before too. And so what they do is they had like scientists in McDonald's, like back in the day, when they were still using actual food, like real cow meat and cows that were fed from grass, not corn fed and injected, and real sugar, like from sugarcane, not refined white sugar, and real salt, not refined white salt like they use now. So back in the day, McDonald's said, how are people going to get addicted to our food? And so they created the perfect salt, sugar, and fat combinations. So a hamburger, like a hamburger, fries, and the soda. So the hamburger has meat and the meat has fat. They're not going to use lean protein. That is super expensive. And then the bread, they put sugar in the bread. And it's refined white bread. So that's going to turn into sugar in your body. So that's like extra sugar. And then there's ketchup, which is sugar. And then cheese, which is fat. And so that's the hamburger. And then the fries are, it's like a potato, but it's starchy. And then it's salty and it's dipped in oil. So it's salt and fat. And then the soda is like, this is also like, they studied it to the T, like the how much suds it creates, like any type of soda, that also becomes an addicting factor. And so all of these different, if you think of McDonald's, all of their combinations of food will have these nutrients super high in their calorie chart, in their ingredients, and a lot of foods businesses do this, but McDonald's just got it like really early on. So
yeah, that's true, and I get it. None of us grew up with money. We were all eating hot Cheetos, our top ramen noodles, which are bad for us. But I think as adults, now we got to educate ourselves. Now we're going to break those cycles of what we're talking about within ourselves. And I think Cindy jumped on it because, yeah, she worked in it. And then her daughter is just very hyperactive. You know what I mean? So you had to be very conscious of that. So you jumped on the bandwagon a long time ago, and I'm barely starting to, but yeah, I don't want to give or continue these bad habits of my daughter, like I want to be more conscious of what I'm feeding her and make sure she's eating a lot more veggies and fruits in her diet, because that's where I'm going to, like in this book, he said all of our ancestors would just eat these, like a plant-based diet, and ever so often would splurge on animal meat. And I don't want to consume it anymore. It's really tough though. It's an addiction.
Mm-hmm. It's okay. I'm so glad you said that, because the best teachers for our kids, we can want them to eat whatever they want, right? We're like, no, you got to eat your vegetables, just like our parents did, but we're going to eat what is in our environment and what we see our parents, our brothers and sisters, our aunts, whatever, we're going to eat what they eat. And the best way to do any type of behavior change and break the cycle with your kids is you have to model it. You have to do it. Like I eat carrots in front of Peace all the time because she used to love them as a baby, and like they're so crunchy, and like I put lemon and tahini on it, so they're like, and she's just like looking at me, because anytime you look at someone and they're eating something and they're making it look good, pay attention to what happens in your brains. Your mouth will start to salivate, and you don't even know why, because you're like, gross, I don't even want that. But there's a lot of psychology that goes into so much conditioning of food, because it's really hard to get someone, for us to say, eat more vegetables, when I never grew up liking vegetables. How are you really? Like, that's what doctors say, right? To diabetics, you got to eat more vegetables and less refined grains. I don't know what that means. Like my grandma never knew what that meant. And then the food that they prescribe to people to lose weight is very like bland. And that's not going to be a successful behavior change, because they're not going to like it. And so yeah, I wanted to mention like the conditioning that we have, and it's hard to turn it around. So you got to start with baby steps. And I like the My Plate. Have you guys seen the My Plate? Like it's not the food pyramid anymore. It's the My Plate, and it's kind of like triangles, and it has fruits, vegetables, proteins, and whole grains, and then dairy. But if you don't consume dairy, you still got to make sure you get calcium and vitamin D. So there's supplements for that. But anyway, when I used to teach food justice cooking classes at the high school, that's what I would tell the students. And these were high school students that were in super at-risk positions. They were either foster care, they were living in like multiple family homes, they were not in the position to go out and buy fresh ingredients and just cook a healthy meal. And so I told them to choose one of those things to focus on. It's just like, do you eat fruit? Yeah, okay, well, do you eat vegetables? Most people don't like eating vegetables. So it's like, what's one vegetable you can tolerate? Learn how to prepare it. I mean, you really got to condition yourself or recondition yourself, and you have to make your food delicious. So you do got to learn to cook. Mm-hmm. And Martine, with diets, I've never been a huge fan of diets, but no matter what diet you're in, if you're really paying attention to it, it's going to force you to educate yourself on food. You know what I mean? Even if it's a particular, like the keto diet is just a very particular, the nutrients it's focusing on, the Atkins diet or veganism, right? These are all very particular, but all of them, what I love is that they're going to force you to learn so much about what you're talking about. And
yeah, definitely.
That's the first step.
Yeah, definitely helped with, someone like me who I was too lazy to just, how do you even start, And so like to look at what you're consuming and stuff like that. So it was easy for me to be like, well, I'm focusing on one thing. What can I eat? And then from there, I started realizing the value of the actual back of a packaging of food or whatever, meat, whatever product you get. And it has that little nutrients thing like that. I'm noticing that a lot more now too. Like there's things that are like keto friendly, but that doesn't mean you can just have it nonstop and there's no carbs in it. Like, no, you got to watch out because although it's keto friendly, there's still carbs in it and you can't go past a certain level. So that helped me realize like, all right, this is the math I got to do. I got to start weighing my food. I bought a food scale. I bought, the teaspoon, measuring cups and, teaspoons and stuff like that, just to measure what I can and can't eat. And, so yeah, it definitely helped. And that's what's helping me. And that was just the start. So now, like, as I was saying earlier, I'm coming off this keto diet because I lost over 25 pounds within 2 months, which to me was a big deal. And because I was pushing overweight heavy for my size. And so now that I'm also exercising a lot more now too. Like I'm actually running at the Rose Bowl. It's pretty cool. But that's actually transitioning into another diet that I'm going to start doing that isn't keto. It's more of a, I don't know. I'm trying to tone out and I'm trying to see how, because I took this keto diet very serious and I lost the weight because I was dedicated. So I'm realizing like, it's actually not that bad. So I'm going to try to figure out another one where I can actually do carbs, but I have to like limit the amount I can eat and stuff like that. So something to just help me tone out because I know I can do that with keto also, but I don't know. I just want to switch it up from just, I miss eating rice, and even if I go out to eat like with my friends or something and I'm like, you know what, when I go to Colorado, that's my cheat time. When I go visit Colorado, that's for sure my cheat time.
And I hate it. That's everyone's cheat time is when they come visit me.
Because it's vacation for us. It's vacation.
Yeah.
It's like when you come out here, you eat whatever because you're out here. You know what I'm saying? It's your
and because I can't cook for myself.
Well, see, that's a personal choice. See, now we're getting into a Cindy thing again.
You're right.
That's an episode for another day. But in all seriousness, so when I go to Colorado, that's my cheat time, and that's when I'm, if I'm going out with my friends and stuff, like I have to force myself to stay up because I'm eating like fries or whatever bread is involved with my food, and I'm like, dude, I haven't been eating carbs in so long. This is gonna tire me out. Like I can't do and then I get full to the point where I'm full the next day still because I don't eat carbs. Like I'm just eliminating them. Even
and did you know
that I have are they're keto friendly and I can only have like one a day because I gotta wake up for what the rest I'm eating.
And did you know that your stomach can fluctuate in size? So you can actually make my stomach was bigger before because I used to weigh more before, and until I started to pay attention to my food. And your stomach can shrink to its regular size, or you can expand it over time. So I don't know if you guys knew that, but that's what happened to you, Martine, especially if you stop consuming carbs. I've never done that, so I don't know how that feels, but I can imagine, especially if you're eating white rice, white pasta, white bread. If you're eating whole grains, you're getting fiber, you're getting the germ, which has a lot of vitamins and minerals, and the starch, not just, with refined grains like white rice, white pasta, all this stuff, cereal. Well, no, cereal's made from corn.
But I mean, but that corn alone has a lot of carbs in it as well.
You guys consider, okay.
In everything. Like you have
no idea. I just want to say that corn is a whole grain.
Thanks. That was useful. Write that down on your my plate, guys. But I was gonna say to get back to that psychology part though of food, like, dude, the hardest part, at least I thought was gonna be the hardest part. It didn't end up being that bad, but it was still kind of tough. Was of doing the keto was having to give up sugar, and I fucking devour sugar. I eat cookies. I am a child, seriously, when it comes to sugar. At least I was. I've limited it now, but I used to. The hardest part of this was I was more scared of, dude, I'm not gonna be able to have like cookies from Subway or something like that. I don't know. I need something. I was always the type of person that needed something that was sweet before.
Did you have withdrawal symptoms from sugar? Because you do get withdrawals.
Surprisingly, no. I thought I was gonna handle it. I was expecting that. I was thinking like, dude, I'm really about to like rash out or something's about to go crazy. I'm gonna turn purple. I don't know what it was.
I think we should ask that question to your partner, because maybe Martin might have not caught himself like having a headache. Maybe like you banging your head on the wall was like an indication that you're having.
And he's like, no, I always do this.
Yeah.
I thought that's what everybody did. No, is that not?
See, yeah, you're right, Jess. We need to ask a third person because
the person you're living with.
I'm sure she's fine. She's fine. Whatever. She hit herself on the doorknob on her way down. Whatever. It was her fault. Anyways.
Wait, do you guys know what color is the most used for food advertisement?
Red.
Yes, blue. You already told us red a million times.
When did I say this?
Okay, is it not red?
Yes, but when you said I told you a million times, when have I ever told you guys?
Tell me that. I was actually going to get to a point with that you're bringing that up, like the psychology of food, like the reason why I love sugar so much. And I think it was because I fell for the trap of that nostalgia of seeing such a colorful like cereal box or pack of cookies or something. That shit got me. Like, damn, that reminds me. It, like straight up, I would go to the store and be like, I know exactly what I need to get the moment. And you know who could testify for this? Believe it or not, Ruben. He would take me before I had a car and I used to live there. He would take me to go get groceries. And it was so simple for me. He wouldn't even point at that aisle. He would just point towards the direction of the aisle. And then my mind would be like, I saw the color to it. Let me see what they got over here.
Dang.
Let me see.
So it's effective.
I had a crazy sugar addiction. You guys, I'm not joking.
It's like crack cocaine.
Cocaine is America's cup of coffee.
I had a crazy sugar addiction. That's why I was surprised I didn't have any withdrawals. Like I didn't have any headaches or anything. And I gave up kind of cold turkey.
If you guys are struggling with giving up sugar, the best thing you can do is switch over to
radishes,
whole sugar. So like sugar cane sugar, not refined or malactose, delactose, dextrose. There's like a bazillion words for refined sugar. And then the worst of the sweeteners, in my opinion, is high fructose corn syrup. Okay. Just wanted to throw that out there.
I know you've been against that since that time you've been forcing it into us. It's like Cindy read a book once.
Whatever. No, I don't. You guys are just a bunch of haters.
So yeah, guys, I really want to change my diet. I think I haven't committed to one yet, but I am doing my homework and research. And it just goes to say, we're not getting any younger, and I want to age gracefully. I don't want to be in pain. I don't want to have body aches and think, oh, well, let me take this pill and that pill to fix this and that. So I'm starting now, and it is really tough, though. I'm not going to lie. Because like what we've been talking about, they don't show us this in school. Like, why isn't there nutrition from elementary school until we graduate to understand like, okay, this is how plants are grown, or let's water that. And it's really sad.
But a lot of people also don't have the resources to be able to do stuff like that. Like it's people in household. It's not only that they're not educating us. I think it's also the fact that there is a huge issue. And I'm only speaking I'm not trying to speak for anybody, but
why did we learn geometry? When did we ever apply that to our adult life?
For sure. The school system is a whole different
so that's what I'm saying. It's not only in our environment, but also within our household. So it's like the whole system is against us because they're giving us a zero chance to start off and already get us addicted from the beginning, from when we're born to now, to adulthood. So it's like I'm undoing, or the key term is unlearning all these like eating habits that I thought were normal or not. And me just eliminating dairy from my diet, I already saw the change in a month and a half, or going on 2 months now. And now that I'm restricting my animal protein, it's even more so. I feel it every day where I'm energetic. I don't get tired. I don't get sleepy. And I want to be able to still eat what I want, but I still just want to be mindful. I just think the hardest part is for me is going to be wings and eggs.
I think, I don't know. I mean, a lot of it also, like, I don't know what to necessarily put the blame on or anything like that, but I just feel a lot of there's just a lot, the school system is only going to teach us what they want to teach us, right? So yeah, I think a part of that, this could be just a conspiracy theorist over here for a second. Let me play that role for a second. But I think that being said, with the school only teaches what they want to teach us, because I'm sure there is money in, let's not teach these kids how to be able to feed themselves, because the money needs to go into these fast food, these corporations, you know, they need our money. If they start teaching the kids, some of those kids are going to want to cook for themselves and stuff like that. That's why it's harder for parents to try to teach kids that type of independence, especially nowadays with both households, you know, both the parents in the households are working, whether they're together or not. Regardless, the parents are usually, nowadays especially, there's always for sure single parents they're working, whether they're together, they're working. So they don't have time to be able to teach, you know,
and that's not
your kids. And I think that's why it is good for people like you guys that are taking this super serious and like being able to be in the educational system and
that's not a conspiracy. And that's not a conspiracy. That's absolutely correct, because our systems are run as a business. And when you don't teach someone how to take care of their body, and then you provide a lot of fast foods and cheap food and packaged foods with all these preservatives and chemicals, and then you get them addicted to that food, then that causes diabetes, high blood pressure, and heart problems. And that benefits the health system and the pharmaceutical system. And
then there's a pill for that.
There's a pill for that. And in the movie, I highly recommend this. It's kind of like a PBS type documentary from 2014, but it's called Unnatural Causes. You can watch it for like $14.99 if you just stream it like that one time. And it's called Unnatural Causes is Inequality Making Us Sick. And they teach us there how the health system isn't meant to cure sicknesses. It's meant to treat them. And if you're treating sicknesses, you're able to put them on medication. You're not curing it. Medication is just kind of like prolonging it so that the person doesn't suffer more, doesn't die, because it's not going to be a good customer if they die soon. So it's just treating it. And so it's a huge social justice, is a huge social, economic, racial situation. It's a disparity because they're preying on our weaknesses. And they do the same thing in every type of marketing. People right now are so sold on having 5 rooms in their house with beautiful fancy cars. What benefit really? Like nobody needs that much shit, but that's the consumerist mentality, is we're going to sell you this dream. Society's going to think, oh, okay, this is what I need for me to feel important. And for others to value me, you know, we put our own value on our things. Like I have a nice car. My car's not fucked up like Cindy's car is. I have nice shoes.
Let's talk about that again.
I got the latest Jordans. All my kids got the Jordans. Like, do you guys see? Like, yeah, but you're not eating what? Why do you need to spend that much money on shoes? Because you're worried about what someone else is going to think of you, and they prey on that. They prey on that weakness.
That's a good example, Prima. You made me think of like cars, right? People will spend the most money in their cars, or the gas, but yet this book, and when we were talking to Jessica, they use the analogy. We have to view our bodies as a car. Why don't we value the fuel we put in ourselves? Because the system says, well, don't worry, you can fix it with pills, you can fix it with surgery, all these quick solutions. but it's like there's no prevention in our healthcare system. And I've said this so many times. When I was seeking a therapist, I had to lie on that survey because there's no prevention. They only want to give you a therapist after you've had an episode, after you qualify for whatever medication my therapist or my psychiatrist can refer to me. So there is no prevention program in any shape, way, or form. And that's what we're trying to get to the root of it, to do our homework. We are trying to prevent all these diseases and sicknesses that we get later in life. And there are cultures that eat plant-based and are living 100 years old or 80 to 100 years old with not dying of cancer, not dying of Alzheimer's disease, not dying of heart attacks or high cholesterol, which is all associated with animal products.
Well, not just animal product, also sugar and salt.
Yeah, you're right, which is in the fast food industry. But if you're eating a plant-based diet, are we still not eating sugar from fruit?
But that sugar is natural. So if you're exercising and you're eating enough fruits and like you're eating enough food, it's not going to cause a health problem.
Correct. But that's what I'm saying. So the way they're advertising it is like the fast food way, and eating all these things that are unhealthy for you in the grocery store. And like you said, how is it framed when we go in? The fruits and produce are not like advertised, they're all the way in the back, and it's not even at the front anymore. It's like all these other things that are refined in the front. Yeah, packaged. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, if I am going to go plant-based, I am going to eat regular fruits and veggies, like I don't want to get the frozen ones. I want to make my fruit fresh, and I want to get into like gardening, all that.
Yeah. And I think that's awesome. But I do want to mention that my area of focus, like where my passion lies at, is in the socioeconomic part of food justice, and that not a lot of people have access to. I don't like jumping the gun to veganism when I'm talking about that, because first of all, I don't practice veganism. I'll do it every once in a while to cleanse. Like I'll do like all vegan, all plant-based stuff. But my personal theory is that back in the hunter and gatherer days, yes, everybody was predominantly plant-based, and every once in a while it was a special occasion because they didn't have fridges. It was like a whole thing. They would have animal protein, and it was super lean. The animal was eating from its natural environment. Right? Like everything was processed so differently. So I don't necessarily think that veganism, for me, I'm like, no, I can't, as long as I eat very high quality protein. I do stay away from red meats. I don't eat ever beef or pork, but I do sometimes. And if I do, I go crazy. Like I'll do McDonald's, which at that point, nobody knows what kind of meat that is, right? But I don't ever meal prep red meat. And so anyway, so I don't think frozen vegetables or canned or frozen fruit or canned things, there's ways that you can make those healthier, because some people only have access to those things. And they, once you start getting into higher quality foods, it's going to be more expensive. So you have to educate yourself so that you're not throwing money away, so that you're using your ingredients correctly. But the area that I specialize in is how can we tell people to make that behavior change from years who are in poverty, who are receiving food stamps, because that's how we grew up. And I think my mom never, ever, we were on food stamps, we were on WIC, we were on everything. And she would never bring in sugary things into our house. When we lived in LA, when we moved to Colorado, she changed her mind and she started buying everything Eloy and Martin wanted. That's why they are the way they are. Anyways, and so, but when we were in LA, she never, ever, ever buy like cereal that was cool. It was always like cornflakes, the bland one, or Kix if we were lucky.
Because clearly she didn't love you guys.
Yeah, she didn't really love us that much, but it's okay. Anyways, and so how can you make those small behavior changes? If you are consuming dairy, do your research. I don't like when we bring up the topic of dairy and how much, because I've never brought it up, because when I do my own personal research about it, it's how I feel. And I'm not going to shame anybody who consumes dairy. That's not my place. I hate when people shame others for they get into this fucking diet fad and like, F you for liking this. And you're just like, come on, it's hard enough, to make this whole, if I really want solutions and to spread the positive message, I'm not going to be like, oh, you're eating carbs. It's like, well, I'm on food stamps. Like, it's just like, then people start thinking, I shouldn't eat. What the hell's a carb? You know what I mean? Like, there's just so many things that we don't know enough of. And so that's why I'm very careful when we say, don't get frozen stuff. Because there's nothing, if that's what you have access to and that's going to stretch longer, get frozen fruit. You know what I mean? That's what I mean with like, but if you can afford to get better quality, fresh stuff, get that. But if not, like rinse off your fruits and vegetables if they're canned, because there's a lot of preservatives on it. And the preservatives are made of salt and sugar. So there's even more salt and sugar in our stuff. So yeah, I just wanted to say that. Just rinse your beans. That's what I always do. If I get them canned. It removes 75% of the preservatives.
Nice little tip. That's the self-care tip of the day. You just gave it without even acknowledging it.
Self-care tip of the day.
I'm going to smoke
Thanks
a
for
cigarette
grooving.
real quick.
Thanks for grooving to that, Jessica. Very supportive of you. She's like, yeah.
But yeah, guys, I don't even have it figured out. I'm just on my journey. And like I said, it's just all starting to make sense to me now. Why I keep gaining weight and I just don't like it. It is majority of my diet. So I'm trying to change that about me. I'm trying to change my lifestyle because in 20 years, I don't want surgery. I don't want to rely on all these pills to just get me through my day.
I don't think anybody has it figured out. Because even those who say this diet works, like other people that just because it worked for you doesn't mean it works for the next person. Your way, your method of working out, your method of eating doesn't work for me. I wasn't built with your body. Like everybody's
very true. I hope we have very different bodies, Martin, for our IDs in general.
I mean, you've always wanted to be just like me. You saw my print and were like, I want a big penis like him. Anyways, but I just I find that part ridiculous. Those who say like those, I don't know. I'm throwing out air quotes, but we all know who we're talking about. When people are just so like, if someone who is a big, let's just say like a fat person is complaining about their weight. And then there's always that one insensitive person who's like, well, just get up and start working out. Like, it's not that easy, bro.
Exactly.
You got that. It was easy for you to get. I was like, no, it wasn't. You don't know the trauma they went through. Like a lot of people eat because of shit they're going through sometimes. Some people go to drugs. Some people go to drinking. Some people can handle their emotions and be like, yo, I'm going to exercise this off. Others can't. They handle it way different. And that's what I'm saying. Like emotionally and physically, there's so much shit that people are so different that I find it annoying for others to be like, why don't you just do this? Like because it doesn't work like that for everybody.
All you gotta do is pick up the phone and make the call. Why are you making it complicated?
Educate me if you want to educate me. Tell me, look, what are you eating the most of? You should probably stay away from this because this is what it has. And then from there, it's up to you to take that advice. But at least doing that is better than doing this. You need to start doing, like, what makes you think you have the answers just because it worked for you? Like, it doesn't work that way. It just doesn't. So many people have tried it, like the same way, but they don't have, like I said, they don't have access to things. Some people can't just run outside. There's also that factor of, I'm embarrassed, dude. I don't want to go run outside. They see a fat guy running outside. I don't want to get laughed at. You know, they're dealing with so much stuff mentally. It's not just stop eating, put the fork down. No, it's not that easy.
Here's a hint. Put down the fork. Face.
You think I want to be this unhealthy? You think I want to be a life risk to myself? I don't, but this is just how shit is. So if you want to be that person to educate somebody and tell them, yo, you should go on a diet, at least tell them what things you may have.
I was just going to say that, Martin. We're not telling people to go on a diet, but...
I wasn't saying you guys to begin with.
No, yeah, but I'm saying like no one should probably ever tell anyone that. I think that's too sensitive.
I think advice in general, it's very like be cautious of how you're throwing it around because there are people that are going to like right now. Me even saying that first, why'd you guys take it so personal? See, here's my advice to you. I'm just fine.
Well, because I feel like that's a sensitive topic. So like, but like you said, we need to be more empathetic about throwing out information. I used to do the same shit. I didn't go up to people who were heavier. It was just the people around me. The first time I converted from white rice to brown rice, my mom literally stopped talking to me for like a month. Like that was so, because she's like, oh, you think you're all bad? What the hell is brown rice? You can't make brown rice the Mexican way. It was very like, it was a triggering thing for her because she's like, well, as a mom, I make this food. Now you're saying I'm switching over, like nothing to do with me. Right. But it is triggering, to like some people. So I feel like definitely don't judge people, because just like any substance, like drugs or makeup, some people are addicted to looking perfect, right? Like that's what we're running into in today's day. And any substance is going to be used against you to fill that void. It's not getting to the solution, which we're going to get into now. It's to fill the void and to profit from it. That's the most important thing in the world, unfortunately, is how can I make a profit? I don't care if it's going to like go into your weaknesses or not. How can I make a profit? And so, solutions time. So what are your guys' some solutions that you think we can leave off with, and how can you start thinking more about the food that you eat, like from a very basic from a practical perspective, not basic, practical.
There are no solutions. We're a dying, failing country. I'm just playing.
Hey,
I mean, America is a fat country, but we're figuring it out. The younger generations are starting to figure out being healthy is the way to go.
The way to go.
No, but I think I mean I don't have any solutions. I have my 2 cents, I guess. I don't think it's the solution. But I think things you guys are doing, like we're getting the younger generations involved more. The way you would teach your class, you would actually have them doing it. Like, look, yeah, nobody wants to get up and do it, but look how easy it is. Mm-hmm. I used to, one of the reasons why I hated cooking was because I had to clean, but now I'm finding a little bit of therapy in washing the dishes after I'm done cooking, But that's my way of doing it. I was raised in a place where, yeah, my mom would take us out to eat a lot, but she would cook a lot too. So once I moved on my own, I was just kind of like, I had to figure out how to cook some of the stuff my mom made, because it was so simple. Like, how did she make this? Everybody's parent has their own recipe, because home cooking meals are always the best, right? Usually. So you try to imitate that and stuff. But like I said, the worst part for me was like, I just didn't want to clean afterwards. But then I figured out, grow up, like you got to clean.
And it's an investment. It's a time investment. I meal prep, and for me, it's like, no, I don't like doing it. It's super time consuming. It's super labor intensive, and my daughter's, running around wanting my attention, so I don't want to ignore her. It's stressful, but it's the investment I'm willing to make on myself, because it helps me with my energy, with my budget, and it's time effective, because when I'm hungry during the week, it's like, don't you dare not eat your meal prep. Anyways, yeah, Jess, any solutions, Jess?
Like what we always say, do your own homework, whatever works for you. But just be brave enough to take that first step. It's never going to be easy. You may never have the support that you're looking for, but if you're trying to better yourself, just take that first step in doing your homework yourself. What do we know? Like I said, Cindy is on her own journey. I'm just discovering mine. Martin's on his own, but we're talking about it, and we want to bring some light to this topic, because it's important. It's about our nutrients and about longevity.
I hear what to add to the solutions. I hear one way to lose weight for those listeners that are trying to lose weight. I hear that a good solution is meth.
Yeah.
I think if you want to get away from the sugar and all that, I mean, whatever.
And you don't care about your teeth.
That's what is teeth but dead weight? Think about it.
And you can it requires you to sleep less, and also you will lose weight. So
drastically.
You're hungry less. So you'll minimize, but don't do meth. Please don't do meth. And if you are, no judgment.
You do what you want to do.
Definitely no judgment, but also we love you, whether you're doing meth or not. Okay. Some of my solutions: get out your pens and papers, ladies and gents.
Stickers and ponies in myspace.com.
Just kidding. Okay. 1, get comfortable with reading food labels. Martin mentioned it. Jessica mentioned it. Google myplate.org, and you'll see a very, very practical ways that you can start mimicking in your menus, like what you make for your families, how to cook for yourself, to be able to include all of the different nutrients that the foods provide. If you guys are on a different tip and you're ready for an actual particular diet, I'm not your person for that. But do some research, go look into these diets, get a lot of feedback from them. How did it work for these people? And then see if, it works for you. Yeah.
Can I add something to that really quick? Because you mentioned the labels part, and I don't know if this app specifically that I'm going to read out, it helped me a lot. I don't know if it's only for iPhones. I have an iPhone, but I'm sure there's other ones. If iPhone has it, you know, the other companies have their version of it. So, but I use this app called MyFitnessPal, and I literally write everything I eat. Like I'll put it on there to kind of calculate what it is. I mean, like how many, for me, since I'm on keto, it tells me how many carbs or whatever is in what it is that I'm eating. So that helped if you don't necessarily get the nutrition, like reading the packet labels, if you don't understand that for whatever reason, you know, that helped me a little bit as well. So
and it also, yeah, that's great. I use it too. And it also counts your macros. So if you're strength training and you want to gain muscle, it'll tell you, you know, from your information, like it'll recommend specific recipe, well, specific, yeah, macros. Anyways, my next one is, there's a bazillion different names for sugar. And so don't think that when you're reading an ingredients package, so there's a food label, and then right in the bottom with even more boring and thinner letters is the ingredients. Get comfortable with reading both of those, because the first ingredient up there, it goes on a weight scale. So like it's the most of that first one, and then it goes down from there. And so just get used to it. Like even if you don't know what it means, or take a picture and Google the words, like just learn what you're reading so that you understand that there's so many different names for sugar that you're thinking, oh, this doesn't say sugar, or it doesn't say high fructose corn syrup, or it doesn't say cane sugar. I should be fine. And then you'll find out later that it says dextrose and, you know, all these other trose. I was going to say cook from home or meal prep. I will be back on Instagram soon, and I always post my meal preps. They're super basic. I'm starting to move from looking at food as a product and more as a nutrition, you know? So like my food is very bland. I'm getting to that level where it's delicious to me, but you know, it doesn't matter. There you'll get ideas. Use whole products versus refined products. For example, white sugar is refined sugar, and so cane sugar, brown sugar, there's a bunch of different type, honey, whole sugars that you can use. So like it might be hard for you, so just implement it into your diet. Just start using these things so that you can get used to, like your palate can get used to like what whole products feel like. Don't bring it in the house. One thing that really gets me is when if I have chips in here or cookies, I don't care what it is. If it's junk food, I can't stop thinking about it. Like I want to eat it all because I'm crazy. I'm a psycho. So I just don't bring it in my house. I don't buy it. If I want something at the store that I know is going to be bad for me, just like don't buy it, and you'll figure it out. Don't shop on an empty stomach when when you go to the grocery store. That's the worst thing you can do, because you're going to add extra things that you didn't really want, but because you're starving. We all know what that feels like when you're starving. Don't go shopping on an empty stomach. Create a weekly budget and get everyone in your environment involved if you can. Like if you have kids, make them cut stuff for you. Make them put the eggs away or scramble the eggs. You know, there's little things you can start doing so that it's not hard for your family once they get a little bit bigger. Okay, that was it for me. Food justice.
Great topic.
Sí se puede. Sí se puede.
You can always stick your finger in your mouth and throw up what you just ate. That's another solution to lose weight.
Martine, you're just giving bad advice. You're telling people about eating disorders and now drugs.
All right, well, you know, figure it out.
And if that's a solution, now you're creating a different problem with the eating disorder. So don't do that to yourself. Just be more conscious about your diet. There's a lot of documentaries out there. There's so much information now. My MyFitnessPal app is awesome. myplate.org. All right. I'm glad we talked about this.
Yeah, one of the many topics. Yeah, this is just touching the waters of our journey. Who knows where we're going to be by the end of the year.
Oh, and I want to say, Jessica, when you came out here, it's just crazy how aligned we are, because like when you came out here to visit me, you were like, you know what? And then you just started talking about nutrition from a deeper level. And I was like, she's ready. And so I was just kind of like, dude, let's talk about your journey. And you're like, yeah, so that's cool, because you're starting to pay attention to food now, and it's a beautiful thing. You're going to learn a lot about yourself. So thanks for being cool with talking about food justice and stuff.
You've been wanting to talk about this since season 1, but I was like, Prima, stop. No one wants to hear about it. Now I'm ready. You're right.
I know.
You gave that little okay from your microphone in your shirt. So Big Brother, Rebels can hear you.
Yeah, I said she's getting stronger. Martin, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, this was fun. I can't wait for next week's topic where we dive into religion and how it's ruining our society. Oh, it's gonna be so fun. I am so ready for that conversation.
I won't be here. I'm gonna
so
take a vacation.
expensive.
I'll be on vacation that week.
It's gonna be
Vacation?
pretty testy.
Mhm.
We're gonna bring one of every religion in as a special guest.
Oh, that'd be
Even-
cool.
It's gonna be like a Royal Rumble.
And let's say we're gonna
Just
say,
as long
okay,
as
give
they're,
your
like, down to-
argument.
That's gonna be great.
That's funny.
We're not
Let's
even
do
gonna
it.
talk.
Okay.
I'm just
Guess
gonna
who
set
our
them all up.
friend is? Guess who our Muslim friend is? Ayan Lay.
He's gonna be the Muslim mediator or
He's the one.
spokesperson. Okay. Well, I'll reach out to some. I'll do Mexico. Oh, that's not a religion. Wow, Cindy. Okay.
Okay.
Keeping that one. Keep that in there, Eli. Keep that in.
Why
the
would he
fact that
not?
Mexico is a religion.
See what we're talking
Whatever.
about? All right. This
My
is a
daughter,
good time
my
to wrap it
daughter's
up.
been sick. Just real quick, my daughter's been sick, and I've had to work from home, and she also doesn't sleep through the night. So that's where that was coming from. So judge me all you want. I don't even care.
Oh, that is a perfect explanation. I get totally ignorant and racist because I don't get my sleep. So, that's how it goes.
Sorry, you guys. I've also been relaxing and smoking out of my
Your,
penis pipe.
I was
haven't
just
had
gonna
an
say that
opportunity.
your penis pipe.
I haven't had an
Yeah.
opportunity to, so.
All right, guys. It's been nice. Can we wrap it up? It's going on 2
Okay.
hours.
We love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.